All right, we're on.
Welcome to our YouTube special. The first time me and Billy are doing this, we were going to call it Bedtime with Billy, since it's what time is it there for you? Because it's 4:30 here for me.
We call this 22 to Raw. So, yeah, Raw starts in 22. I might actually stay up and watch an hour now because I'm real awake for all this. And we've had to learn how to use the stream link. I don't think we got it yet because we're broadcasting live, which is against our will. See, we got the little eye here that says that we're broadcasting live and no one's watching. But I don't know if we'd done the whole schedule thing, whether it would have just gone up at a time that we wanted it to.
See, this is all new to us because this is like the Russo style on how he does his recording. So what we would do is do it so-called live, and then it will be posted up to the YouTube. So we were going to talk about, because we recorded our wrestling show that I like to call it, and I think the show should just be called the Billy Show. I like the Billy Show myself when we have to reformat our man show, because if you want to say why.
I was going to say, I thought you said that this show should be called the wrestling show, or the wrestling show should be called the Billy Show. But yeah, no, the man show is gone because it was reported for, I don't know what they didn't give you the exact reason, but there was a content issue. It was the content was banned, and then the show was removed from iTunes. So whatever was said on that show, which have the show's not gone up anywhere else, has it? Or it's still available on Podbean?
Place the show is, and people can actually hear this band show if they go to Podbean and look for the man show. It's there still. It's not being redirected the way, if people don't know how the podcasts work, you have to have a host, and then it redirects to all the other streams. So the host site, Podbean, actually still has this show up, which I think we should air that band show. The first show, we have a new stream, because we're going to name it something else other than the man show. And we'll have another stream, which I voted we call it the Billy Show, because that's what I refer to it as when I do a show with Billy. I say, I did the Billy Show. It's just easier. It's got his name on it and everything. So it was mostly attacking Ryan Satin the entire episode. And
but
then
it was suggested that parts of it may have come off as racist or insinuating racist views,
because we went into a whole diatribe of match the race with the crime, which I think is fantastic, and I was the one who came up with that, so Billy's not at fault.
and I went into a promo about how the Black Lives situation, it needs to be a 70-30 adjustment in terms of white people do need to do 70% of the work, but Black people need to do their 30% in terms of eliminating the cultural biases. And I went over the whole thing and blamed both parties for their role in it. And that involved really outlining what the problems were with both cultures and stereotypes and all that kind of stuff. I think I don't know if I did or didn't touch on to the things that I said in rap music and things about crimes and stabbing people and killing people and all that kind of stuff, and that kind of perpetuates the fear anyway. But I thought it was a fair and balanced argument. So if it's been banned on the basis of that, I personally think the title had the name Ryan Satin, and Ryan Satin's been gunning for us, and he may have been involved in it. But that's fine. If I have to lose the man show for him to lose his job at Fox, and he is now fired, and he realizes that he fucked with the wrong person, it took. What the fuck is that?
You got a tiger in the house.
No, that's a motorbike outside. It took 2.5 years to get revenge for my Twitter account, but now he's fired and he won't be getting that kind of opportunity again. He's gone from Fox. I don't want to speak too much about the stuff I did in the background to make that happen, but I'm definitely going to be taking responsibility for that and enjoying this one.
I don't want to talk too much about it, as he tweeted it out every 4 seconds. And
not the specifics. You know the specifics, and Nick knows the specifics.
Oh, the Super K5 specifics, not just the throwing out the petition to be signed.
Right.
Yes, a lot more behind the scenes.
We don't know what done. It could be the petition, but we don't. I mean, because that was the Fox were aware of that, but we don't know what was the final decision maker. I mean, he's going to go down the line of budget cuts and all this kind of bullshit. But what the fuck are they paying Ryan Satin to do that? Like what, $200 to come in, or $200 to?
It was good timing too. If it was budget cuts, boy, that was timely. As soon as there's a petition to get them off, all of a sudden they decide we need to have a budget cut here.
Yeah, we got
to cut though, did they?
No, but that $400 they were paying Ryan Satin, they had to get that back.
Fox Television needed to cut back on that $400.
What did we want to? What did we advertise that we would talk about here? Or
we talked about. Well, here's the funniest part about what we advertise, because this is how me and Billy operate on a wrestling show. We go into Sammy Guevara's activities, and we go, we're not going to talk about this. We're going to make everyone go to YouTube to hear what we have to say. I think we talked about it until we were done talking about it.
Not about him though. In terms of we didn't talk about him. We didn't talk about what AEW have done. We didn't talk about him and Sasha.
Talk a bit, but then what happened was the Satin story broke at the last minute, and I said, "This is where we cut the show. Go see us over there if you want to hear our comments on Satin," which we've already just gone over about how the Man Show is now fucking banned. Which, I mean, you can't get better publicity than having an entire podcast banned. A podcast, which is free for everyone, and they took it down. So we will be back with a secondary show other than the wrestling show, which will probably be called The Billy Show, which, just to twist the knife, you call it The Billy Show. Because now when he talks about it, he has to say The Billy Show.
And this is the other thing with me and him. I've been 7-0 down for ages, and this for a long time, it looked like we were like down in the dumps, and he even like made the stupid comment where he said, "Oh, I thought we got rid of this guy, like we died." Mm-hmm. But we've been like making 4th and 1 for like the last 2.5 years, like 4th and 1, 4th and 1, 4th and 1, and we fucking scored the touchdown today. Like it's all leveled up now with this guy getting sacked.
That's what's very bizarre, that they thought we were gone. And that shows you how much like not being on Twitter has to do with it, because people go, "Oh, you left?" I'm like, well, if they were always listening to the same feed, it never went away. It wasn't constant every week toward the end, because
there wasn't a listener saying that. And then when I went over to Russo's show, there was a load of people that turned around and said, "Oh, it's the great Billy," or and all this kind of. There was a lot of comments saying. There was a lot of comments in terms of saying like, "Oh, we listen to the Dirty Sheets and this guy's always right," and those people were still with us the entire time. So, I mean, it's hard to lose that, thousands and thousands of people. All those Indians that iTunes don't count anymore because they don't leave reviews. Now, iTunes had done a different thing in terms of the way that they started monetizing and monitoring numbers, in terms that they would only give you monetization numbers. And we have a problem with that. And we have a problem as podcasters, because we do our show and we don't tell people to review it. And the way that it's worked out is that if there isn't enough reviews there, your subscribers count as dead listeners, because they estimate that if your listeners are active, 5% of the listeners per week will leave a review. And if we're getting 0, that's taking a massive hit on our show. So
yeah, it always helps. Like you hear JR and everything. It helps us. It helps us if you put a review. On my show, I don't tell people post a review. I have like a couple bad reviews, which I almost like use as a fucking slogan, where they're like, "These guys are awful." I just love those reviews, even though it hurts, but it's funny to me. But I guess it fucking helps if you're reviewing on iTunes and say, "Oh, this is a great show."
It helps because it's part of a weird metric system that they have for advertisers, where it looks like people are engaged, and it's the only form of engagement that they have. They actually, despite the fact we're in this technological age, they don't have any tracking device to see if your subs listened or not, and they literally worked that one out in terms of how many people ended up leaving a review. So if you have 50, 60,000 subscribers, they are expecting 1,000 people to do reviews, which is unrealistic. But I mean, we're not getting monetized on anywhere near as much as we have, because the engagement on the Facebook page is good. Like this petition for Saturn, I bought a day's worth of advertising on it, and we ended up getting like 5,000 people viewing that petition. So, and I was saying to you earlier, I was like, 5,000 assholes have looked at this, and only 180 have like signed it. I was like, what? How? It takes like another fucking 10 seconds to put your email in, but that's not what they're willing to do. So,
but exactly. I mean, unless you give a shit, you're not going to do it, because how many times have we seen these things on Facebook? And what do? You scroll right the fuck past. I'm like, I'm not fucking signing this. I don't care. So it has to be a unique person that wants to, get them the fuck off. So
yeah.
Otherwise it doesn't matter. So we'll be happy.
It's over now. It's done.
It's over now. No need to have a petition. Just send out thank yous to everyone.
We just need the petition now of we'll change it, because the petition is already up and running, so I can just change the title, and it'll just be get Ryan Saturn's girlfriend to leave him. Erica needs to leave Ryan.
She should leave him for you, and then have a.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna make that like commute. I'm gonna live with you.
As in those people who sign it. Why should she leave him for them? And they would put down their remarks. Big dick, whatever they wanted. I could pump away, whatever. So
we can talk about that. Actually, that's exclusive content that we could do here in terms of revealing what I said to her in terms of this apology that I made, that she ended up like disclosing on social media
and making it. I said, this is very much Billy though, because it's everything she said. You send out an apology, but it was all about you. You go, I'm sorry for this, and then it's, he took away my Twitter, he took away my money.
I think the point I was trying to make actually on that was a case of, this isn't, because Russo was doing the whole thing yesterday where he was saying that she's a good person, and don't put her in with don't put her in with Saturn, and she's not the one that was offended by Billy's joke, because she understands that it was because she actually apparently sent an email to him. She goes, yeah, I understand that he made a joke about Ryan, not about my dad. It wasn't me that was mad. And so so they're throwing each other under the bus, because she's saying, I know the joke wasn't about my dad, yet he's faking outrage, and he's like throwing her under the bus with the whole porn star thing. So they're as bad as each other. So Russo's now going on the going out on his podcast and defending her and telling his people to leave her alone, and she's grieving and he feels her pain and all this kind of stuff, which is fine. But at the same time, she's still the person that has all this background of supporting Saturn and being devious and whatnot. So this is why when I said the apology to her, because I knew Russo was going to do everything that he was doing, and I figured collectively as a team we have to be on the same page, and I also have to show that I'm going to leave her out of it as well, because that's what Vince wants. He wants her left out of it. So I went to have the apology, but I wanted to make it clear that Vince doesn't own me. Like, I'm not Vince's bitch, and I will apologize to you, but I still hate Saturn. This is not a truce in terms of everything that he done is done and dusted with, and this is the end of the whole thing. It's like, it's the end of it with me and you. I will not bring you in anymore because Vince doesn't want me to. We're done. I am sorry for what you dealt with and bringing you into it and the shit that you're dealing with. But with Ryan Saturn, it's not over. And I felt like it made the apology to me, in my mind, which may be like fucked up. I thought it made it all more genuine. I thought it made it more genuine to say, this is only to you. This is not to him.
Yeah.
He's a piece of shit. And also, I couldn't resist getting the end bit in and going, don't you see that this is what... Let's read it. Shall we read it?
Okay. Bring up your...
And then we'll finish up. I want to get done in time for Raw, so we want to carry on and finish up that Sammy Guevara conversation. And I'll explain...
I think we've fucked beating Sammy Guevara into the ground.
We didn't. People may be tuning in to hear what that UK terminology is in terms of why the whole rape thing wasn't really.
But here's the bad argument. Motherfucker's not from the UK. He can't use that excuse.
It's not just the UK though. It could be something in terms of. I didn't say it was from the UK. I said it's groups of friends that I have over here use it in that way. I don't think it's exclusive to UK. I think if that's your friendship group, and I think it's just a jock thing. I think it's just a jock thing. I think it's just.
It is locker room, of course. I mean, that's what for grab by the pussy. That's locker room talk.
And Nick related as well, but I actually genuinely think that Nick goes out more than you in terms of like with groups of guys. Like I always go out on nights out with 6-7 guys, go and buy a couple of tables in a club or whatever. That, and I know you hate that. So
yeah, I don't go out. I'll go out to dinner, a nice dinner. I don't go to a fucking bar or club or something like that. I got a giant fucking TV in front of me, actually 5 of them. So I don't really need to go anywhere. And wait till the new PlayStation comes out. That'll be a show we do for a review.
Let me read this.
Okay, read your apology.
In light of what day it is, which was Father's Day yesterday, I would like to apologize for dragging you.
Father's Day.
I would like to apologize for dragging you / your dad into my issue with Ryan Satin. Use his full name here. I know today must have been pretty shit, and I feel shitty about being any part of making it worse. This was true. Sort of. My only defense would be the fact that Satin dragged my 6-year-old son into this situation 3 years ago by photoshopping him into a girl, implying my son was transgender. So in my mind, I figured you were fair game. However, this isn't a game, it's real life, and I won't be using you again to get under Satin's skin. Perhaps that should have been the end of the whole apology. Maybe they would have. That could have been
continued though.
I could have left it there and then waited for a reply and then wrote the rest afterwards. I put, while my friends have argued that what Satin did was far worse than what I did, as he dragged a 6-year-old child into it, whereas you're an actual adult, I'm uncomfortable lowering myself to his level.
You're uncomfortable. Go ahead.
And this is where I wanted to have some clarity to this apology to show that it was genuine. I want to make it clear this isn't me calling a truce with Satin. I hate the guy and always will. He went after my livelihood. He got my verified Twitter account suspended. He subsequently cost me tens of thousands of dollars by contacting everyone I was working with and paid by. He will claim it's because he didn't like my views, but it's not. But he's not the police on opinions, and he's not entitled to go after people's incomes and destroy lives. The real reason he went after me was because I was another verified person who began covering wrestling, and he viciously went after me to get rid of me by discrediting my name. He failed to a certain extent because it worked a little bit at the time. Satin gave 0 fucks that I have a child who relies on my income. This is something you said, proven by both his actions and the fact he'd actually attack my child on social media. So on the basis of that, I don't think it will ever be over between me and him, and he won't get away with what he did to me today. He was fired from Fox. So that came through after I did warn them yesterday. So it's like that's pretty cool now reading that.
If you would have replied with a nice reply, you would have called everybody off.
I would have called the dogs off, yeah. Called off the hit, yeah. I'm telling you that part straight up so that you don't think my apology to you, which was about 2 paragraphs ago, is anyway disingenuous or that it's in some way part of an elaborate plan. This message is what it is. Me apologizing to you. No bullshit. Here we go. Another reason for me wanting to clear the air with you was after seeing him throw you under the bus over Arabella Danger's situation, which made me realize the reason why you get dragged into his affairs. It's because Satin uses you as a shield to deflect the attention away from himself, which in turn made me feel like it was even more necessary to contact you and apologize. However, I have to ask, do you not realize that he's using you to soften his character on social media while he manipulatively tries to increase his own relevance and attack others? Do you not realize that you're a key part of the Ryan Satin package, where he tries to look like this well-rounded, cool guy who dates this fun, quirky girl? Try to compliment her here. But in reality, he's this self-involved narcissist who uses you as a mask to go after people, and even has you fighting his own battles. Without you as part of the package, he's just a whiny wrestling journalist who complains about everything and tries to get everyone cancelled. I finally figured that out after over the last week, after seeing him gaslight you. Girls love that term, gaslight. They love to think everybody gaslights them. You know what that is?
Yeah, like trigger them up. Yeah.
No, like make them think that something's their fault when it's not.
Oh, heat reverse. That's what I got with. That's what I call heat
reverse. Because I had like this that psycho that I went out with said that I was always gaslighting her. After seeing him gaslight you to 100,000 people just 3 weeks after your dad died, and he comes out and he makes out that I'm the bad guy. I mean, come on, Erica, wake up and smell the narcissism.
I died to come on, Erica, when I fucking read that.
I hope you actually think about what I'm saying, although I think it's more likely you'll block me, which you did, and think this is part of some kind of game. You'll see it's not. Hopefully, at the same time, you realize who and what your boyfriend is.
So what did she reply with before she blocked you?
I was going to save that bait for next week's show. Okay. But anyway, she put holy full stop fucking full stop shit. Did you really just message me on Father's Day under the guise of an apology, mere days after making a public and repeated spectacle of my father's death, which I didn't, and sending me into unfathomably deeper depression?
Oh, stop it.
Yeah.
Give me a break.
And I was already already in just to complain about your Twitter getting deleted, insult my boyfriend, whine exclusively about events that literally never even fucking happened. Well, they did, and are clearly photoshopped.
Oh my God. With the Photoshop still. She actually convinced her this is a Photoshop and I didn't put his son in drag.
Well, this is what gets interesting. Make some wildly warped arguments in an attempt to convince me that the man who moved into my parents' house, he doesn't pay any rent, to clean and cook for, dance and laugh with, and do every imaginably difficult thing possible for my mum, who has severe Alzheimer's and cannot function at all without assistance, is actually selfish trash and trying to manipulate me and use me as a shield and feign concern about our relationship and that I should break up with him. If you have genuine interest in my emotional well-being, like you say, you'll ruminate on my words and try to understand my perspective, and you'll go and reread what you thought would be an appropriate message to send me once again on fucking Father's Day. Hard time believing you intended this to be an apology, and ulterior motives aside, your word make my heart hurt for you and turn my brain into mush. I genuinely hope you get a firmer grasp on reality one day, both for your own sake and for the others like myself who just had the joy of being re-traumatized by you all over again under the guise of an apology on fucking Father's Day. By the way, I can't wait for my dad's ghost to haunt the fuck out of you.
I saw that she posted the hope my dad haunts you.
At which point I replied with the video of the forensic examination of the video, in which she blocked me after watching that.
I was gonna say all the shit she said, and you sent back a video of the forensic, because that was the only thing you read. That entire yell about you, the only thing you read was he never photoshopped. Which drives you crazy because you took a snapshot of the fucking tweet. So him saying, no, this isn't real, it's like saying the sky's not blue when you're staring at it and you go, but it's fucking right here.
And I didn't even know I had it, because I mean, at the time I don't remember being that bothered, because to me, like, I wasn't the Steel Cage guys. Ryan Satin didn't mean shit to me. For me, it was more funny that it was like Alistair Black pretending he'd never been in a strip club, and Tyler Bate and Joey Ryan, and it's so funny, like all of the names who jumped to the defense of women at the time, like, are all on this list. It's just crazy. Like, it's just the ultimate karma. And then Satin gets fired too. It's like, honestly, Russo's the God guy, but like over the last 2 days, it's like somebody turned around and went, there you go. I didn't realize that, like, I had these wishes because I would have wished for money instead, but this is fine with me.
Believe me, it doesn't work. I've still been wishing for money. I don't care about Ryan Satin. I was wishing for money during that whole time.
Yeah.
Well, we should end this and
talk about the Sammy thing. Like, let's do a couple of minutes because we did plug it. So he turned around and said what he did. He said he was doing an extra at the WWE. He said, "Oh, that's Sasha Banks." He said, "Dude, that's Sasha Banks. She's so hot. I literally wanted to." Did he say literally? I can't remember. He said, "I wanted to fucking rape this woman." Right?
Yeah. You know what? I got the clip. I could actually play it. So,
oh, cool.
Good. Keep going, and I'll.
Yeah. So I mean, he said that, and then everybody got on his back about getting him fired and what a prick he was, and the internet. And we had a whole thing over on our show. So go and listen to our podcast about.
Here you go.
Bro, Sasha Banks. So, oh my god. When I was at the WWE the other week, I wanted to just go fucking rape that woman.
You had a tryout?
Sort of.
I just wanted to go rape that woman, but I mean, he's like, oh my god, like how hot she is.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like when you're on a podcast and when you're dealing with this community where they have no lack of understanding, and we spoke about on the show, we did about 40 minutes on the lack of understanding in terms of the wrestling community and understanding the whole. The concept of these guys going out and being famous people and being young and wanting to fuck and being able to get, a lot of pussy in terms of they can go from woman to woman to woman. And obviously they are a catch to these women who want to keep hold of them. So these women are going to get upset and offended when they go from women to women because some of them would have felt like they were worth more. And you're going to end up getting, end up getting these bitter women saying stuff about you. But we did obviously premise the fact that these were some of the stories. Some of these guys are rapists and assholes and whatnot, and they do deserve it. But some of these guys just pissed off girls who thought they were their girlfriends. And this whole Sammy thing, it's very, very clear to me, but not clear to these wrestling idiots, that he is not a rapist, right? He does not actually want to rape Sasha Banks. And what I wanted to explain is that I'm here from the UK and I was talking to Cav and I spoke to Nick as well. And Nick had heard this term and Cav hadn't heard this term. And it was literally talking about if a girl was ridiculously hot, sometimes guys would say, Jesus Christ, that fucking girl, she's rape worthy. And there's different ways of saying it. Like the group of friends that I had, they would cut that down to, so you look at a picture of a hot girl. So let's bring it up like right now. Let's use I don't know.
What, Satin's girlfriend?
Right. Where's my camera?
There you go.
There you
Okay.
go. So they'd look at that and they go, oh, rape. That is rape, mate. That is rape. So in terms of
an English thing.
That's rape, mate. Yeah, so that is or that is rape level, or I've heard it said in various different words. Like there was at one point. Oh, are we still going?
Yeah, we're still going.
So I pressed the button. At one point, there was a group of friends that I hung out with. Craig's actually in our group chat, and he'll back this up. Who would use that expression all the time, like when girls would walk past, or a 10 out of 10 was described as rape, like as that was it. It was literally just one word. It was like she was raped, like, and that did not ever mean that we were going to plan a trip. We're going to find out what time she finished work. We're going to find out the route that she walked home in and jump out of a fucking bush. Like, it just meant that she was in absolutely ridiculous weather. It was stupid, idiot guys being idiot guys. Like, guys are idiots when we get in groups and we're all like trying to outman each other and there's testosterone buying around. And that's what they do. These guys are the epitome of that, because they'll be like young guys and they're all trying to like swing dicks, and that's just how it is. Like, I probably wouldn't say that anymore, but this was at the peak of my going out. I'd probably just say I would want to fuck that girl, or she'd get it hard, or I want to do like some bad things to her, or do you know what I mean? Like, especially on these platforms, especially on these. I've been doing this now for 6 years, and I know what kind of morons some of our listeners are. So there's no way I would fall into that trap. But he's 22 and he's probably having these conversations with his mates. And I don't know if this translates over to the US or not. But for me, seeing a picture, when we would have pictures of hot girls or we talk about girls and someone turned around and went, she's right, mate. Like that would mean that she is the tip top. And that's just some bullshit little slang, chit chat and nickname thing that we had going on. And it's pretty common. It's pretty common. So
what I hear from my friends is usually, I got a friend who's into the big ass, loves the big ass, and he's not black, shockingly, but he loves big fat ass. And every time he sees the reply, I'll either send it to him or he'll say it to me first because I know what's coming. I always say, face first. He goes, with my hands behind my back. Fall face first into that ass. That's what he likes. That's his pleasure. So,
well, there's this guy who said it quite well, who actually backs this up, and he is getting 78 messages when we started recording the last show, and he was getting absolutely fucking hammered because he went on Twitter and said, "This is why I can't with society nowadays. You can't even use hyperbole or expressions. Sammy Guevara didn't really mean he wanted to rape Sasha Banks. It was an expression based on how sexually attractive she is. Like, holy fuck." Yeah. Like, holy fuck. Different way of saying holy fuck. People are so soft. Did he actually rape her? No. This guy is 100% right. And he managed to say what I couldn't say in 140 characters. That's a really good tweet. But I'm glad I didn't, because not one of these 78 replies are agreeing with him. These fucking marks.
It's a battle uphill. You're best not even to fucking tweet about it on the defense side, because you will never fucking win. And especially because you'll have the nerds want to be the fucking shining knight and go, look at me, I'm Mr. Chivalry. Don't you like me now? And they think that they're gonna get a reply from like Alexa or something.
But it's this whole group, like they come on and they get in these little groups and they're all like coming together and let's target this person, let's target that person, let's go through their social media, let's go through their tweets. And when they all find it, they just all gang up and it's like delete this and cancel that and delete this and cancel that. I don't understand how you wake up in the morning looking to get offended and looking to delete, cancel, and getting these groups, and what enjoyment you have as part of being a part of this group. It's just so off-putting in terms of what wrestling's become. And if we didn't have this podcast going and I didn't have a son who was into it and whatnot, and with the shitty product they're putting out at the moment, this is a perfect time to leave, because I don't want the association with those people. But also, I'm not leaving the fucking money on the table either, because I've got now to a certain point where, we have this base. So,
and of all things that Sammy could have just replied and said on his Instagram or whatever, said, you know what? It was 4 years ago. It was in bad taste. I messaged Sasha. It's between us, and it's done. That's
another part we didn't cover. He messaged her. He made an apology. She accepted it and said that he's reached out to me and whatnot. And then AEW suspended him and said that he needed to go to sensitivity training.
I'm thinking it was because of the black comment that came out next. Like it was too many things, which I could play for you since you didn't hear that one.
No, let's play that and then you finish up.
It's so stupid. Yeah, but because we're missing our horrible Raw. Okay, here you go. Let's see. Oops. Come on. Let me get to it, because, of course, I went to the wrong fucking Twitter on one of my spy Twitters here. So let me get to it. Okay. Let's see. Here we go.
This can't be cool, and I'm here to shoot Sammy best ever, or like fuck his mom.
Damn, bro. Why you want to fuck my mom? She's like pretty old. But I mean, I guess you're old too, so I guess.
You think your mom's old? You should see my mom. My mom's old.
Send me a pic, bro. Come on.
Your mom is so ugly, she half as ugly as my mom.
Bro, your mom's black, so fuck her, right?
This can't be
That's
cool,
it.
and I'm here to
So
but the black guy's not offended.
Oh, you can't say any piece of, she's black. Oh, the world fucking finish. So that's, I think that was the straw for him where he got in trouble, because it's like now they're going through every goddamn show he was on, and you have a team listening to shit.
Let me pull you up some some lyrics that we grew up with in terms of what's acceptable outside of this wrestling bubble.
Oh, like 2 Live Crew?
You'll figure out. Because if I ever stuck it to any singer in showbiz, it'd be Jennifer Lopez. And Puffy, you know this. I'm sorry, Puff, but I don't give a fuck if this chick was my own mother. I'd still fuck her with no rubber and come inside her and have a son and a new brother at the same time and just say it ain't mine. What's my name?
Yeah, that's a good one from Eminem back in the day.
Get this one. I don't know. I got another. I pilled up another few. I was prepared for this show. I'll tell a bitch like Bizarre, bitch, shut the fuck up and get in my car and suck my fucking dick while I take a shit. And I think with my dick, so come blow my mind. And it tastes like humble pie, so swallow my pride. You're lucky just to follow my ride. If I let you run alongside the Humvee, unless you're Nikki, grab you by the wrist, let's ski. So what's it going to be? Put that shit away, Iggy. You're going to blow that rape whistle on me. Squee, I love it. 4, I get lost with getting off. This is our next exit. Now let's hit the highway and try not to get lost. So literally, there's a rape lyric in here. Put that shit away, Iggy. You're going to blow that rape whistle on me. Plus, obviously, the shit that came before that. But this was fucking all the stuff that was just cool as fuck. And this was one of the biggest artists in the world. And he could not survive in this current culture. He wouldn't have got around in this culture. But this is the stuff we grew up with. So I'm supposed to have the Attitude Era and the Marshall Mathers albums, and now I'm supposed to tolerate this fucking shit where Sammy Guevara is suspended and sent to sensitivity training for using rape as a way to describe the word rape to describe the hotness of somebody.
It's I wouldn't doubt it. He would have another album with extra shit now, just to say, look what I'm gonna do. Fuck you, because what's gonna happen? The label's not going to fucking take him away. He'll sell a zillion albums. So I can't imagine that he would conform. Hell, he had a song about burying his fucking ex-wife.
Well, the Iggy stuff is relatively new, and that's literally a case of shit. You're going to make me want to make you use that rape whistle. So honestly, it's just this fucking industry. Like, I mean, the world is changing and it's become like all super sensitive, and we're supposed to be sensitive about this, that, and the other, and there's certain shit you can't say, but certain people can still get away with it. And this industry is really, I mean, when you have people like Saturn at the forefront of it, and that's the media that's representing it, then that's a big problem. And hopefully today's are a step in the right direction where he may now fuck off and go away and become a lot less relevant than he is.
Well, hopefully, because the world is fucking boring as shit if it's everyone being exactly the same with no fucking opinion different than anybody else. So, do we want to close out? But before we close it out, speaking of dead dads, and you know how I have my father's dead too. But look, he's right here in the room. I have the ashes and everything. The picture I have on the outside of it was when he was like at a fucking Hooters or something, and the girls took pictures with him.
What's that? What's between Bears and Iron Man? What's that one? What's the red helmet between Bears and Iron Man?
Oh, that's the Illinois helmet.
Right.
Yeah, and then I got so much fucking nonsense. Hell, I got the Patriots championship rings over here because of my love for Tom Brady, even though I'm a Bears fan.
I just always got my wrestling shit behind me.
There you go. I have manly stuff. Including dead people.
Do you know what the fucked up thing is? Like, during this whole time, like, I don't really want this stuff now. Like, I want the stuff where I remember going to get it signed and like a real person that I wanted to meet for ages. Like my Sean, like I waited outside a bookstore in Chicago for like 3 hours. But the stuff I've got like around hotels and just figures that I bought because I was a collector and all that kind of stuff. I'm so off put. I don't want to stop watching wrestling, but I don't want to be like a super fan anymore. I don't want to be somebody that, you know what I mean? I don't feel like I need this stuff, and I don't feel the big need to pass it on to my son because, as I was saying to Nick before, Austin is really like trying to like skip parts of the wrestling. Fast forward this, watching a 42-minute version of Raw every week. It's concerning to me because I mean, this kid can go and play stuff on the PlayStation. He's into South Park already. He likes to go out and play football. He watched that Cobra Kai series. There's other series around. there's a lot of fucking shit to do and not watch this like meager product. And I don't think that he will get to our age as a fan, because I just don't think it's gonna hold him.
The way it's going doesn't seem that way. The only couple wrestling things that I even have is one in the background here, and it's Hogan and Warrior at Mania 6, signed by Hogan. And off to the side would be what Billy would love. Look, see my Bears wrestling mask actually right here on the side with one of my TVs. But right here, the Austin one.
Keep my Hogan and Warrior together on next to each other.
There you go. See? And then I got my Austin one up at the top that you wanted, the matte plaque.
Oh yeah, I love that one.
That's the matte plaque. So we'll do tours of our nonsense. You could see some of these frame things on my wall over here that I'll show people eventually too. So we'll have a bunch of nonsense. So Billy, you want to close it out, Billy, or shall I?
Yeah, you close it out. I'm going to go down and rewind the first 20 minutes. You know what? It's all right to get 20 minutes behind Raw because it's just going to watch less breaks.
Yeah, we fast forward that a little bit. I don't even know what this is called, but we will be doing it more and come up with some kind of nonsense. I like Billy After Dark.
I call it Dirty Sheets bonus show, and in the description we talk about the Sammy Guevara situation. But I didn't know at the time that Saturn would be fired as quickly as tonight. So
no Billy After Dark.
Well,
in the satin sheets with Billy.
We may take that name when After Dark, when AEW goes out of business for running their shit so poorly, like they are at the moment.
So be sure to check us out every week. We will be on the Dirty Sheets podcast. We will be coming up with a secondary show, of course, and as well as if you want to hear a show that really doesn't have anything to do with wrestling and is just nonsense and comedy, that's my own show, Lingus Mafia podcast. So
also, Cav is making his debut on Vince Russo's show this week, where we are doing the review of The Undertaker's Last Ride, the entire series. And we got the retirement to talk about, too, at the end of that.
Yeah, well, shit, now you just ruined it for everyone. Okay, so...
he's not going to retire. He's not going to retire.
We're out of time.
All right.